Welcome to Voice of the Nation. We could see that the first half of 2022 has been very bad for the crypto market. The value of popular cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Ethereum are down more than 50%. And in Thailand, a famous crypto trading platform, Sipmex, suspended the withdrawal of cryptocurrency temporarily on its platform because of its trading partner are in a financial crisis. So there are now many questions about the future of cryptocurrency, and people are wondering if crypto are still a legitimate way to invest your money. And our guest today is Kun Piriya Sampantharak or Ajahn Tam he is a managing director of Chalok.com will help us answer this question. Welcome Ajahn Tam to our program. So first, let me ask you that the value of cryptocurrency has reached the all-time high in late 2021 and created a lot of hype around the world. But now the values are down more than 50%. In your view, what went wrong for cryptocurrency for the first half of 2022?
In my view, what went wrong with the crypto market? Well, first things first, we would have to separate. This is what I do, but we would have to separate Bitcoin and crypto first. They're not the same, right? It's a totally different product with a totally different product market fit. But if we were to look at the whole industry, the whole crypto industry as a whole, what went wrong? What went wrong started before the crash, in my opinion.
Okay.
During the bull run, a lot of things went wrong. And by going wrong, it's not like there are problems, but the way people invest money in this space, it's a problem in itself. Bitcoin was created to be an alternative to the central banking system, to create a form of money that cannot be inflated with monetary policies that cannot be changed. It's all fixed in stone. And the ethos of the Bitcoin and the Bitcoiners is to take control of your own money and be your own bank. Crypto, on the other hand, is easy money creation. People can just create tokens out of thin air and try to hype it, try to market it, and make it valuable in some form of secondary market. And after they can assign value to their mostly worthless tokens, they can just dump the tokens onto the market and make a lot of money. They can get a lot of Bitcoins from doing so. So this is the difference between Bitcoin and crypto, right? You have one thing and you have all the copycats.
Okay.
So going from there, what went wrong? What went wrong is what happened in the crypto market in 2020. A lot of things happened. A lot of money flowed into the crypto market after I think it was following the relief paycheck from the government in the US. A lot of money came flowing into all sorts of assets. Real estate goes up, stocks goes up, crypto goes up. People start buying Bitcoin, start buying Ethereum, and the hype starts building, and a lot of projects starts happening. In a market where liquidity is flowing in, where money is flowing in, you can do anything. You can have any sort of bad ideas, and you can always get funding, some sort of funding, and you can always make money as long as money is flowing in. So that is essentially what happens in every bull run in the past, whether it's in a stock market or in the crypto market. People start leveraging, using borrowed money to start businesses that has no prospect of success. They're out there just to make quick money. But what really went wrong during the past year before the whole crash thing came around is the another layer of easy money creation that's happening in the crypto space. So not only that we are creating tokens that doesn't have any real use and trying to sell them for money and trying to sell them for Bitcoins, people start essentially creating money within the crypto space. So Bitcoin was created because it wants to be a way out for people who say, dollar is being created out of thin air. We want money that cannot be created out of thin air. We want money that has real cost affixed to the creation of money. But the whole crypto industry kind of went the other way. they started creating the dollars. They create money. They create things like UST, Terra USD, which is a stable coin that's basically not backed by the dollar, but backed by another token that has a free floating price. So what happens is we start creating debt. We're creating debt money. We do all this thing called DeFi, decentralized finance. I personally call it DinoFi, decentralized in name only finance, right? So you start creating all this debt cycle within the crypto market, and that created more money. And those money flowed into all sorts of crypto assets, pushing the price up. So this is what happens every time when liquidity starts slowing down. Money starts coming in just a little bit slower. They're still flowing in, but they are flowing in just a little bit slower. And what happens is, projects, since they are on high leverage, they need to make large amount of return to pay off their debt. And when they cannot do that, when they cannot service that debt, they all go bankrupt. So smaller projects starts, flopping, starts going bankrupt, starts going poof. Then bigger projects starts getting into trouble. What we see when money printing stops. So the bull run starts when there's a huge amount of money being printed. 80% of the US dollar supply was created during the past 2 years. So when that money printing stops, liquidity slows. If there are no leverage, nothing should happen, right? Nothing should happen. The price should stay stable. But since the whole price of the market went up more than it should because there are more money creation within the space, once liquidity slows down, what you call the bubbles pop. So when the bubble starts popping, everything starts falling down. The last nail in the coffin that we've seen is the fall of Luna and Terra, I just mentioned earlier, which is a form of money that's basically created out of market-making mechanisms between two tokens that doesn't have any real cost of creation affixed to it. So when that crash, a lot of funds, a lot of financial institute in the space, a lot of services in the space are heavily invested in tokens like UST because they thought it would be safe. It's a stable coin. It should be $1. When it turns out that it's not, a lot of people are losing their money, and a lot of people are defaulting on their debt because these companies takes debt from their customers and they try to reinvest it into some form of other investment to make yield. They default on that debt, and that causes a cascading effect on the market.
Okay, and we could say that cryptocurrency is a easy money creation, and there are like many hundreds of cryptocurrency out there,
Tens of thousands, yeah.
10 of thousands, some that many that we never heard of before. So I guess that a lot of people, the question that a lot of people are asking is that because cryptocurrency is a decentralized digital money, but that also made it very risky because there is no central authority that manage or maintain the value of crypto. So can I ask you that can the value of cryptocurrency simply disappear overnight?
Right. So that goes back to my first point. We have to separate what is Bitcoin and what's crypto because this is the part where it's really different. Yes, it can happen to crypto. No, for a short answer, no, it cannot happen to Bitcoin. For the long version of that answer, you can just follow me on my show. I spend like hours, literally hundreds of hours talking about this subject. So why and why not? I mentioned that crypto is easy money creation. This is what's not true with Bitcoin. To create Bitcoin, you need to participate in what is called Bitcoin mining, which is you have to spend energy and money to actually be able to create any Bitcoin. So each Bitcoin is a money that's really hard to create. It has a lot of cost, right? So people are taking risks to create these monies, and that creates a system of incentive to keep the systems going. When you consider crypto, especially like tokens, DeFi, ICO, stuff like that, those tokens can be created by just a few lines of code with no spending, with no expenditure of of energy or money of any sort. Right?
Okay.
You can pay your consultant to create those coins, but it doesn't really cost anything. So
Okay.
in essence, it's not really different from the US dollars, where you can just create debt and create more money, which is an antithesis of Bitcoin.
Okay. So it's like for
And so,
Bitcoin.
the second part of your question, right? So the decentralized nature of these tokens make it so that there's no asset backing it. Well, there's no asset backing Bitcoin either, but there are, the huge amount of work and security backing the project. There are a huge amount of utility backing the project. There's the monetary policy that cannot be changed, and that has real value, right? So you have like the US dollars, which has its monetary policy changing every 3 to 2 months. You have Bitcoin, which has a fixed in stone monetary policy that we can predict what will happen in the future, hundreds and 200s of years from now. And that is something that has value, and people are starting to discover that value. But when you, when you consider these other cryptos, you mentioned they are decentralized. I said they are Dino, decentralized in name only, because apart from Bitcoin, no other project is decentralized in any way. They all have leaders. They all have companies that are, working on the project. They might have like a system that looks decentralized. They may be using blockchain technology. They may be using nodes, but those nodes are owned by the company. Those miners are owned by said companies, and there's nothing that is really decentralized about these projects. They are all just, I dare say, like private company scams, right? So you have to really understand the space. What is decentralization? How Bitcoin achieves that? And then you understand that most of the project other than Bitcoin are not really decentralized. They are just
Okay.
riding on the coattails of Bitcoins and using the decentralization as a buzzword to gain, to gain attention and money from investors. So
Okay.
yes, those projects, they can just disappear overnight if people just kind of like want to dump it. But yeah, the market mechanism still works with everything. So there will be buyers. It's not going to happen rapidly like the death spiral of the UST, but it can. Yeah.
Okay. So the difference between Bitcoin and other minor cryptocurrency is that Bitcoin they have the real supply because like you say that they have mining and they have to go through all this process in
Mhm.
order to create a Bitcoin, right?
Yes, and one of the most important factor of Bitcoin is the decentralization of nodes and well, I would say governance, right? There are no governance in Bitcoin because Bitcoin is true. It's what I would call true anarchism. There's no democracy. There's no sort of any form of government in Bitcoin. People just do whatever they want, but you can't change the minds of other people. So we have like tens of thousands of nodes, which are people running the Bitcoin software. These people are essentially safeguarding the rules of Bitcoin, and no one can change their mind. I have my own nodes. No one can change the software, which is running on my computer, right? So Bitcoin has what I would say a careful balancing of power between all the different parties and stakeholders. And
So
what Bitcoin doesn't have are investors. So you take projects like all other crypto projects, they might look decentralized in their structures, but what they have ultimately are investors, VCs, people who paid money for these people to work for them. So in the end, they would be trying to meet the interests of the investors first. That makes them
okay.
just a private company. I'm not saying that they are worthless. They can provide they can provide useful service products, but they are just useful products and services. They are not like we are decentralized. We are going to change the world. Blockchain doesn't work on anything other than Bitcoin.
Okay. And
Mhm.
is there any other cryptocurrency that is truly decentralized like Bitcoin?
Truly, I would say no,
Only
not
Bitcoin.
one, not one. Yes.
Uh, in-
Slightly more decentralized than other. Yeah, there are some that are sufficiently decentralized to be called decentralized, but none of them are truly decentralized like Bitcoin.
okay. So okay, let's talk about Bitcoin. So different government they have a different attitude toward
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin. Some supporting it and trying to legalize it, and some government ban it, and
Mm-hmm.
some government may put it in the gray area. Where do you think Thailand is about the legalization of Bitcoin?
Well, the Thai authorities has been very careful in dealing with cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. I've been an advocate of telling them to separate the issue between Bitcoin and other cryptos to no avail for a few years now, because they are, as I said, very different things. And if you want to regulate it, you have to regulate it as a different kind of thing, asset entities. So where are we? As I said, we are very, very careful. I've been working with the government officials on the matters by just giving some consultations, advice, and stuff like that. And I can see that they realize that um, it would not be beneficial ultimately to totally ban the whole industry outright, because there are a lot of opportunities for creating new businesses and services within the space. But they're also trying to regulate it so that it is safer for investors, safer for people who are coming into contact with crypto, right? So because crypto is so easy to get into, compared to stuff like stocks and even bonds. You can start buying crypto with just a few clicks on your smartphones, and
Yes.
that is kind of cool, but it's also kind of dangerous, because kids and people who have no investing experience can also get into crypto. So what the regulators are trying to do is trying to make the space a bit safer for those people. It comes at a cost. We see crypto business in Thailand not really being able to compete with other businesses outside the country, because we are bogged down by all the regulations. But when things happen, right, when the market crash, you people will thank the government for all these regulations. So I say that we are not in a place where we fully openly support the use of crypto, especially not the use of Bitcoin as money. The Thai National Bank is really against that idea. And that's understandable, because we have what we call a monetary sovereignty we have sovereignty over our monetary policies, right? So, um, but we're not outlawing or banning the whole industry at the same time. So we're in the middle ground. Yeah.
Okay, somewhere in the gray area. And as you explained, we can see that investing in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency is no easy subject, like
Mm-hmm.
like many people understand. So
Mm-hmm.
I would like to ask you that if someone is interested to start investing in cryptocurrency, what are some of the things that they should be careful about?
Well, investing and trading it's not something new, right? People have been doing it for thousands of years. Traders, merchants are engaged in tradings and investings for as long as humanity has languages, because language were actually something that is invented for the purpose of keeping tracks of financial transactions. So it's nothing new. And the market has never really changed. People would say that the crypto market is like a casino, a place for gambling. It's not really that's not really the case here. What I see is that market has never really changed. Market is a place. It's a neutral place where people go and exchange their differences in time preference. So people changes stuff, and they create production, they create productivities, they create profits from the exchange. That is the market. How you use the market, that's totally dependent on how you are going to use it. You can go into the market, you can go into your local market and say, I'm going to gamble here. People can
Okay.
gamble anywhere, right? You can go in and say, I'm going to make a sound investment. You can go in and say, I'm just going to sit here and watch how the market behaves and maybe write a thesis on it. People can choose to use the market however they see, however they feel like see fit. So what I would recommend people getting into like crypto investment, watch out for. Uh, I would always recommend they study up on two different subjects, right? One is the investment and trading, because investment and trading, as well, they've been with us for as long as we can remember, but not everybody knows how to do it. It's really a counterintuitive. If you follow your feelings, you're going to lose your money. If you go in without any plans, any protections, any like risk management plans, you're going to lose money. 95 to 99 people, 9% of people in any sort of market, be it bond market, stock market, futures market, crypto markets, 95% lose money. But people having no experience in trading, having no experience in investing, they would install that app on their phone and they would think that they can be the 5%, and that's just delusional. So you have to study, you have to learn, right? Trading is an art, it's a profession, it's something you need to get good at, and it
And
costs quite a lot to learn. Yeah.
okay, and it also takes time, right, to make money.
It takes time. Yeah, yeah. It takes time to make money. It also takes time to learn. Everything takes time to learn. So you have to be patient. You can't just like, install an app today and expect to be a millionaire tomorrow. It might
There's a
happen, but you
solution.
can't expect it, because it's just the wrong expectation, right? So that's just one thing. You have to learn about investment. You have to learn about trading. You have to learn about risk management, which is a whole subject that could take years to study. You can study it on the go, but like while you are learning, try to limit your risk. Don't use a lot of money. Just make sure that if anything fails, the money you lose, it's not going to cause you to stop and not be able to continue the learning process. The second subject that you need to learn coming into the crypto space is essentially the crypto. You need to understand how Bitcoin works, why it was created, not every mechanism of it, but you need to understand it enough to be able
Okay.
to identify, what is a real project, what is the real value, what is a marketing hype, uh, and oh, otherwise you're gonna just get scammed. Right. So so yeah, it's a dangerous place. You need to learn two new things, and that can be daunting. People, I would see people in the space, they would take up on one of these two subjects. We have traders, we have like professional traders coming into the crypto space. They still lose money because they are investing in, maybe a platform that's not real. They deposit money, they trade, they make money, they can't withdraw it out. This is just like a simple newbie mistakes. They got scammed, right? They invest in coins that promises a lot of impossible things that maybe the developer themselves doesn't know that it's impossible. But you need to know, as an investor, you need to know what can be done, what cannot be done. So you really need to understand the technology. Then we have
Okay.
the computer programmers, you have the developers that think that they know the technology enough, and they start trading without any knowledge of investing and trading, and they also lose money. So yeah, you need to know both subjects. Yeah.
Okay. And talking about learning process, this
Hmm.
day there are many investing gurus out there,
Hmm.
and and then that's where most young people learning about investing. So
Hmm.
uh, how would you advise that? How would you advise young investor that where can they get the useful information to learn about investing?
Well, information is really easy to find these days, but the I would say that the real important, the really really important part of learning to be a successful trader or investors comes from, well, basically trading experience. You can't teach that, right? So you can read books, you can go find trading systems. One of the things that people waste a lot of their time on is trying to find a trading systems that is like that holy grail, a trading system that's not going to lose money and going to make a lot of money. That doesn't exist. One of the first barrier you have to overcome is that there's no holy grail in the trading business. One
Like
of the
to invest.
Yeah, yeah. One of the proverb I like to say is that people who search for the holy grail will eventually find a holy grail salesman, and that salesman is going to try to sell their holy grail to them, and that is mostly scam. So when you look at these internet gurus, I can be considered as one of them, right? But don't listen to them too much. People are trading from different contexts, different perspective. They have different trading approach. Try to learn the subject as openly as possible. Read books. Books are good, right? Classic books that are still selling well, like 10s, 20s, 30 years after they've been published, means that they have something good inside. Starts with those classics, and work from there. Because people are afraid of reading old books because they think the crypto market is so new and shiny, and old knowledge is not going to work here. But the market has never changed for thousands of years, because what happens in the market are just people behaving out of that greed and fear, and that is the same regardless of the goods and service that is being traded on the market.
So greed is the real enemy for investor.
Well, the real enemy is the investor himself. Yes, both greed and fear. Greed would lure people to forsake their risk management strategies. Fear would make people hold on to their losing positions and not trying to like cut their losses. These stuff can really mess you up. But it's also the stuff that makes the market move, because the market is not an efficient place. People have different opinions. People have their own greed and fear, and that is reflected in the movement of price, right? So learning just about these basics can really make you be able to stay alive in the market.
Okay. And my last question to you. After a bad start for 2022 for cryptocurrency,
Mhm.
how do you see the future of crypto for the rest of the year until next year?
Well, it's already past the halfway point of 2022, so I don't know. We only have a few months left. Nothing's gonna happen much, I think. If we look, I'm a technical analyst, so I don't really look at the fundamentals and the news and stuff like that. So, but I also study Bitcoin very closely. So yes, I read the news, right? So looking from the charts, what I think is that we are probably going to be moving mostly sideways for a few more months, maybe until the next year or year after that. We might be moving up and down. There may be a lot of volatility, but we're not really going to be going anywhere just yet. That's just from the technical side. That there's no reason behind that, right? So from the fundamental side, I really don't see the future for the crypto industry as it is, but it needs to grow and evolve. I see the future for Bitcoin, because well, it's a technology. One of the most important thing about Bitcoin is that it cannot be destroyed. So government may try to ban, may try to destroy it, may try to like get rid of it, but they just can't, and it just keeps growing and getting stronger and stronger every day. The network is growing. The Lightning Network, which is a payment network that sits upon Bitcoin, is growing every day, reaching an all-time high, even the price coming down 50%. And having the price coming down like 50 to 70%, this is actually one of the smallest crash in the history of Bitcoin, right? The previous crash all went down to 80 to 90%. So on one hand, I'm also saying that maybe we haven't reached the bottom yet, so just be careful. Uh, and on the other hand, is that Bitcoin is an asset that is strong enough to survive multiples 80% crashes, and it's probably going to do so unless there are important fundamental changes to the protocols that may cause it to lose its value. Say if the monetary policy can be changed, if a party like the developers can assume power and take control and force people to change their software according to their whims, that is going to cause Bitcoin to lose their value. But that is also really hard to have. That's really difficult. It's not going to happen. I don't see how it could happen, right? So yeah, it's just going to survive. But I don't see any factors that's going to be pushing the price up anytime soon, except maybe the price not going to be going up, but we are also keeping a close watch on the US dollars, because that thing itself right now is pretty unstable itself. So anything could happen with the dollar being the dollar right now, right? You see the dollar crashing last night, and the price of everything just shot up. So just be prepared for the unexpected. But what I expect is that we're not going to be moving, too far from our trading range for the next year.
Okay, so thank you อาจารย์ตั้ม for your useful advice about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. It is a good reminder that there are risks involved in every investing platform, and so it is very important that we understand about what we are putting our money to invest. So thank you อาจารย์ตั้มครับ
ครับผม
สวัส
Thank
ดี
you.
ครับ That's all for Voice of the Nation. Thank you for staying with us.